Welcome into another episode of Mood Swings with Liv Moods. I am Liv Moods, and as always, this is presented by Landmark Lincoln. Shout out to our friends over at Landmark Lincoln off of Bellevue and Broadway. Head to their location to figure out why they have been the #1 Lincoln dealer in Colorado for as long as they have. Proud new owner of a Lincoln Nautilus. I love my car. You would love it as well. So get over there, check out the cars. Enough about vehicles. However, let's get into the show. Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of Mood Swings with Liv Moods. I'm Liv Moods, and you guys, the show today is just simply put, we're just going to hang out and chit-chat. Okay. Honestly, I felt like this was the most relaxing Sunday that I've had in a minute because the Broncos didn't play. Imagine that. Yes, it's true. They played on Thursday. We know how that went. We talked about it on the last show. It was ugly, but a win is a win. And if a win is a win, we're a football team, it'd be the Denver Broncos. Because honestly, they've had quite a few ugly wins this season, but it does not discount the fact that they are 8-2. Let's stop discounting the fact that they're 8-2, guys. I'm over it. And honest to goodness, I don't want to talk too big here. I don't want to puff up my chest too large because at the end of the day, the Kansas City Chiefs are still a good football team. Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. But is there a world where if the Broncos beat the Chiefs this coming weekend that we can stop doubting what the Denver Broncos are? Yes, there's been some ugly games, but there's a couple of other teams this weekend that had some ugly games and are still really good football teams that I'm sure you will still give credit to. So I'm just saying, let's put it to bed. Let's still give credit where credit is due. The Broncos are 8-2 alongside the Patriots, the two teams with the best record in the NFL. I don't think any of us pictured this happening when the season started, that the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos would have the best record by week 11, but it's the truth. They are 8-2. Cry about it. I don't care. They are winning football games, whether you like it or not. A couple of things we need to talk about in the world of the NFL, however. Speaking of the Denver Broncos, which, guys, how sick is this hoodie? I'm sorry, but it's amazing and I love it. It's Unreal even. That's the name of the company. Guys, I'm so good at plugging stuff. It's unbelievable. Unreal. This hoodie is Unreal and it's from Unreal. Go Broncos, as always. We need to talk about one particular Denver Bronco, though. Alex Singleton. If you guys did not hear, he underwent a very successful surgery for testicular cancer. Testicular cancer that he found out he had a week ago because of a random NFL drug test. This is a true story. He underwent surgery following the Raiders game. He is on the road to recovery. He plans to get back into action as soon as humanly possible. But this is crazy. I mean, I literally was going through my social media today and saw a post from Alex Singleton. I'm like, oh, crap. It was one of those posts where there was so many reactions and things that I'm like, did he just retire? What's going on? What could we possibly need to hear from Alex Singleton? And I did not anticipate hearing that. God is good. The NFL drug test finding something like that. I mean, truly, that is I would classify that in the category of miracles. If this was something that went unaddressed for God knows how long, who knows what would have happened, but they found it. They got ahead of it. He had a successful surgery. He's on the road to recovery. We know the value that he brings to the Denver Broncos, but more importantly, this is a teammate. This is a father, I believe. This is a husband. This is a friend. So wishing him all of the best in his recovery. What a very, very scary thing, but also what a blessing to have caught it when they did. So prayers up for Alex Singleton, and hopefully we get him back in action very, very soon. Let's move on to maybe some not so great news, or great news, depending on who you ask. Brian Daboll has been fired. Yes, some would say this was long overdue. Yeah, this 2-8 team, 2-8 Giants, and what's really interesting about this Giants team is ahead of Cam Scadaboo's injury, and when they named Jackson Dart the starter, it really was looking like this is a very young and exciting team. There's a lot of raw talent. They just need to put the pieces together. Well, Cam Scadaboo goes out. You don't have Malik Neighbors this season. A lot of different things going wrong. And Brian Daboll, who was alongside Daniel Jones when he won Coach of the Year, and there was a lot of excitement that season. But then you get Daniel Jones, who moves on and is on to bigger and better, kind of showing us that Danny Dimes was never the problem in New York. Maybe a little bit, but maybe more so that O-line that had him lying horizontal for 4 straight quarters. I think that was probably the issue. But Danny Dimes moves on from the Giants, and Brian Daboll, he's thriving. And then Brian Daboll, leading a 2-8 Giants team. Not so great. Giving Russell Wilson a chance to start the season off, not so great. So, was a coaching change necessary? I think you could argue yes. Do I also think there's a world where when you've got a young Jackson Dart, he's going to need some stability as he gets his footing. He's going to need some stability as he figures out who he is in this league and starts to get a little more comfortable being a starter in this league. Sometimes a coaching change actually does more harm than good. Sometimes the grass is not always greener on the other side. Brian Daboll, coach of the year just a few seasons ago. That being said, this also sheds a little bit of light on the standards of the NFL. These coaches get paid a lot of money. And when you've got a guy like Jackson Dart, who we've seen in many, many situations rise to the occasion and be a really, really good quarterback with a very high ceiling, does it feel like you're wasting time with him if you have a head coach that's not helping you win football games? We also know, unfortunately, the reality is when you have a team that's not winning, both in the NBA and in the NFL, the coach turnover rate can be a pretty quick one. So honestly, I'm kind of shocked it took this long, because there is a standard that is held with these coaches. And when you're not winning, you're simply failing at your job. It's that simple. You're paid to win football games. That's it. So when you're not winning football games, and they've only won 2, and we're in week 11, guys, I'm actually shocked it took this long. So whether or not you think that the coaching change was that of a good one or firing him was a good idea, I think at this point in time this season, kind of one of those, what else do you have to lose, right? You've got Jackson Dart, who's injured again, right? He's been in concussion protocol 4 different times in his career. Is that the truth? I think that's the truth. 4 different times you've had Jackson Dart in concussion protocol, one of which of the times Brian Daboll's in the tent trying to get him back out on the field. Hello, liability, Brian. So that actually takes me to my next point with this Giants team. I would really love to watch Jackson Dart with a healthy offense, with weapons all around him, with Cam Skattebo back in action, really tearing it up. I fear if Cam Skattebo and Jackson Dart continue to play in the manner in which they play, they will not be in the league all that long. Their longevity is going to be cut in half the more that they play the way that they play. It takes me back to the conversation that I just had a couple of shows ago where I talked about the QB slide and the fact that it needs to be banned. We've seen it with Trevor Lawrence. We saw it with CJ Stroud versus the Denver Broncos. We've seen it with Tua, and we're seeing it with Jackson Dart. If you don't know how to slide, simply don't. Yeah. And the problem is every quarterback in this league probably believes they can do it. This is a sport of ego. Of course. I can slide. I know how to slide. What do you like, what do you mean I can't slide? Yes, I can. Well, your cranium is saying otherwise. Jackson Dart, so long as he keeps playing in this manner, which here's the hard part about it as well. The manner in which Jackson Dart plays, which is, very mobile, very athletic, very aggressive, is wonderful and it's fun to watch. But the longevity piece is what I worry about. So I think the Giants have a lot of pieces that I think really could set them up for success down the road. Was Brian Daboll that one piece that didn't make sense? Only time will tell. But I do encourage you to keep in mind the grass is not always greener on the other side. There's a lot of times where you make a coaching change and you think this is it, and it just doesn't work. There's a lot of times a coaching change is exactly what you need. Shout out Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears. It's like I said that at the beginning of the season. I did. When you guys asked me why I thought the Chicago Bears were making the playoffs, I said 2 words, Ben Johnson. And let's talk about that juggernaut of an offense. Yeah, coaches matter. It's the truth. So Brian Daboll, at the end of the day, has to be the fall guy here, because you do have a young quarterback that knows how to play football. You've got weapons everywhere. What is the one thing that's kind of over the course of the last few seasons not really worked? It's the coaching. So Brian Daboll is gone. I think this Giants team is young. They're exciting despite their 2-8 season. I think this was a really important season for them to show that they are capable. Again, despite the record, you've got Jackson Dart with the concussion stuff. He gets out. You throw Russell Wilson in, the game is lost. Unfortunately, as a woman wearing a Broncos hoodie, I can sympathize. Giants fans, yeah, you put Russell Wilson out there. You tell him to cook, and the meal is burnt to a crisp. It's turned into dust. Yes, that's what happens when you let Russell Wilson cook. It turns into dust because you've burned it so bad, and your house is on fire. Actually, yeah. It's true. So I get it. Okay. Unfortunately, I do get it. But that's why you need Jackson Dart healthy, right? I don't think Russell Wilson is the answer. I have a lot of respect for that guy, but I don't think he's the answer. I think the game has passed him by. I think one of the harder parts about a Russell Wilson situation is he doesn't he doesn't have the respect of the locker room. He can't walk into a locker room and try to hype up the guys and get them motivated. They probably just laugh, because every other time he's in front of a microphone, he sounds like a Pinterest board. And then he gets in the locker room and he's trying to turn a game around or hype people up while simultaneously having more interceptions than touchdown passes. It's just a tough thing. It's just a tough thing. I think Russell Wilson is in a position in his life where he can be a decent backup. But even then, this Giants team doesn't have enough wiggle room to put him on the field and just keep things. You need him to win you a game. He's not capable of that anymore. So the Giants just need to get healthy. I'm eager to figure out who this new coach is. Dare I say Bill Belichick back in the NFL? I don't think college is for him, honestly. I think we all got a little too excited about the idea of Bill Belichick being a college coach. I haven't really enjoyed it so far. Have you guys? I don't think you have. Maybe you get Bill Belichick back in the mix. I mean, he's still a good coach. I don't know. Something to think about. Maybe just sleep on that and we'll get back to it. But excited to see the potential of the Giants. I think their season's over. I think we all know that their season's over. But next season, I think there's a lot of exciting things if they can all get healthy. So shout out to the Giants. Hopefully your time is coming very, very soon. Let's talk a little bit about maybe a more positive side of things, which is the New England Patriots and Drake Maye. Guys, I'm not kidding you. This morning I checked. It was plus 2,200 for the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. That feels like a steal at the moment. They have the best record in the NFL. They have an electric offense being led by Mr. Drake Maye. Let me give you some numbers, okay? 2,500 plus passing yards, 70 plus completion percentage, 250 plus rushing yards, and 5 or fewer interceptions through 10 games this season. That is Drake Maye for you. Yes, he is something special. And I was actually warned by a lot of people before this season started. They're like, Drake Maye is him. I was like, who? Who are you talking about? Who's this Drake Maye you speak of? Like, please simmer down. This is a very, very good football team. It's a very complete football team, and they're finding ways to win games. In a little bit more of a way, listen, Patriots, Broncos have the same record, right? I think you could argue in some situations it feels like the Broncos are getting by, like I've heard some people say there's some luck on the side of the Denver Broncos, which I actually believe when you're a good football team, luck is on your side. We've seen it with the Chiefs. We've seen it with the Bills. It happens. That's the way that it goes. The Eagles are another one. So forget about it. And am I putting my Broncos in the same category as those teams? No, I'm not. Relax, okay? But I do think that luck is a part of the equation when you're a good football team. That being said, I think the if I had to pick of the 2 8-2 teams wearing a bright orange sweatshirt, if I had to pick who I trust a little bit more, I think it's the Patriots right now. I think that they're a little bit more complete. I think this Denver Broncos team, if they can get that offense where it needs to be and they can get on track and consistently, I might add, I think that is what people are struggling with when it comes to the Denver Broncos. And I don't necessarily blame them. That's the struggle between the Denver Broncos and the Patriots. When you're looking at 2 8-2 teams, they actually couldn't be more different. I think you've seen more consistency out of the Patriots. You've seen more excitement out of the Broncos, but with that excitement, it's because they've had to play heroic football. And the reason they have to play heroic football is because they have self-inflicted wounds through 4 quarters. They put themselves in bad positions, and then they're forced to play heroic football to get back into things. So this Broncos team, BTW, don't mishear me, it's very, very talented. And do I believe in this team? Absolutely, I do. I think where people are struggling with the Denver Broncos is that consistency factor. The Patriots have shown that a little bit more. Drake Maye is playing at an extremely high level. He is showing you who he is, and it's time to believe him. I believe him. Hell, I think it might be worth sprinkling on him for an MVP award. I mean, if this is a team that has a record, they win 10 plus games, which they are absolutely on track to do, and he's playing the way he's playing now throughout the rest of the season, I don't know. I think he's got a pretty strong case for MVP. And this is a team where if you can get the Patriots to win the Super Bowl right now at plus 2,200, you might want to take it. You might want to take it because I don't know how much longer it's going to be valued that way. So shout out to the Patriots. Shout out to Drake Maye. Let's talk about another quarterback, shall we? That has a lot of conversations kind of circling around him in this very, very moment. And that's Trevor Lawrence, guys. Can I be honest? Is this a safe space? Of course it is. It's my space. It's always safe. Here we go. This is what I have to say. I am not off of the Trevor Lawrence train just yet. I'm not. Here's where I think we went wrong, maybe potentially, and I think we do this often. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is a bad quarterback. And I honestly don't think Trevor Lawrence is the problem. What I think the problem is that our expectations were too high. We set expectations that maybe were a little unrealistic, and he hasn't met the standard that we've set. So it feels like a letdown. It feels like disappointment. It feels like he's not who we thought he was. And the reality is he's not who we thought he was because we maybe stuck him too high in the sky, to be honest. He's a good quarterback. We're not going to sit here and pretend like Trevor Lawrence can't play football. Be so for real. But what I think is making this conversation so large right now is it feels like a letdown. Trevor Lawrence as a quarterback feels like a letdown because we stuck him too high in the sky. And that's on us. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is necessarily the issue. I've watched plenty of games where Trevor Lawrence has won the football game for the Jags. We also know he's had some injuries he's had to deal with. So there's a lack of consistently seeing him out there. There's an injury liability there. There's a lot of weapons on the field. So you could argue, like, why is this not clicking? You've got weapons out there. So naturally, this is a Trevor Lawrence problem, but I just don't think it is, guys. I think that we had maybe an unrealistic standard for what Trevor Lawrence could be in Jacksonville. And because we haven't seen what we thought we would see yet, we're off the Trevor Lawrence train. Like, we're done. Would I put Trevor Lawrence top 10 right now? I don't think I would, but I also wouldn't put him bottom of the barrel. And I wouldn't also suggest that you get rid of him if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars because he's the issue. I don't think that's the case at all. I really, really don't. I have not given up on Trevor Lawrence. Do I have doubts? Do I have question marks? Yeah, but I'm not ready yet. There's something in my gut that's saying don't give up on this man yet because he's still got gas in the tank. And we just need to kind of alter and shift our standards and expectations of him in Jacksonville because I think we really, really got excited about what he could be in this league, and we just haven't seen that yet for whatever reason, whether it's not having weapons, not having a great coaching situation. I think Trevor Lawrence in his career has lacked consistency in his environment, and that is not Trevor Lawrence's fault. So now that there is a little bit of consistency, I think we expected, oh, this is where we really see the best of him. It may take him a second, guys. I'm not off the Trevor Lawrence train just yet. I'm not, because I can acknowledge that in his career, he has lacked consistency, whether it be in the coaching, whether it be in injuries, whether it be in the weapons that are around him. There's been environmental factors that are out of his control that I think have hindered his potential. Now that there's a little more consistency, I think we just give him a second. I urge you to be patient. Okay. There's been a lot of offensive coordinators in this program. There's been a lot of coaches in this program in Trevor Lawrence's time there. Let's give him a little bit of stability. Let's take a deep breath and let's not pretend that he can't play football because he absolutely can. Okay, guys, let's just simmer down a little bit. Let's just simmer down. Let's talk about another team. And my angle on this team is going to surprise you. It is, because you're going to sit here and you're going to say, oh, here comes the hater of Bills Mafia here. No, actually, I want to talk about the Bills losing to the Miami Dolphins, right? And you're probably like, oh, God, la, la, la. I don't want to hear what she has to say. She's about to be a total hater. No, actually, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to tell everybody to shut up about my Broncos because good football teams play really bad football sometimes. Okay? Do we understand that? The Buffalo Bills are still a good not basketball team. Well, maybe they could be. Guys, good football team. The Buffalo Bills are still a very good football team. Josh Allen is still Josh Allen. And oopsie daisies, they didn't play so hot versus the Miami Dolphins. And the Miami Dolphins happened to figure it out for a game. Okay. I remember seeing many a comment, many a DM, many a tagged post. Oh, look what your Broncos just did versus the sorry Raiders. Look what your Broncos just did versus the sorry. Okay. And we have seen, it's funny to me. Have we not seen the Chiefs play some really ugly football this year? Andy, you can chime in. Yes, we have. Okay. We absolutely have seen them lose to bad teams or play bad versus bad teams. We've seen it. It happens in this league. Okay. That does not all of a sudden mean that the 8-2 record of the Denver Broncos means nothing. It's worthless. Get over it. The Bills losing to the Dolphins is exactly what I needed to tell Broncos haters to shut it and to kick a couple of rocks in some open-toed shoes. Back off. This happens. Sometimes really good football teams play really ugly football. Josh Allen just did it, okay? Seriously. We saw it with the Packers versus the Panthers. I mean, come on, guys. So I'm actually going to take this opportunity not to clown the Buffalo Bills or Josh Allen, because I still think this is a very great football team, and I know he is one of the best quarterbacks in this league. I'm going to take this as an opportunity to say, see, keep that same energy, please, because ugly football happens every Sunday. And especially on a Thursday. We're also not going to pretend like historically Thursday night football games aren't ugly and gross. They are. Okay? This was a division game, no different than the Broncos versus the Raiders. It's another division game. And if you've ever watched football before on an NFL Sunday, division games half of the time don't make sense. They don't. All of a sudden, these players just have a very different motivation because it's a division rival and thing. It's just weird football, and it typically is. Okay? They're always tough. They're always ugly. So please, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Namaste. Relax. Namaste in your lane. If you're not a member of Broncos country, please or you're the Patriots who have the same record, please refrain from speaking on the 8-2 record of the Denver Broncos. I urge you to do that because I have time today, tomorrow, and the next day. So, that being said, I am just going to use this Bills loss, not to flame, not to clown. I'm not really in a position to do that because, my Broncos coming off of a pretty ugly win themselves, but that's what I'm going to remind you. Good football teams and good quarterbacks play ugly football from time to time. Okay? So just chill. Just chillax, would ya? Thanks. Guys, I think it's going to be a pretty short show today. Which you're probably like, thank God, I don't want to listen to you much longer. Be nice. We are going to get to, however, my weekly standings for this week. Where do we stand? Hoo. Yes, she sings and she does it all. That's just the truth. We're going to talk top 5 fringe teams, the teams that are on the cusp. They're fighting for a wild card spot. Which 5 do I believe in the most? Okay. First of all, I have to do honorable mention here because that's the one team I'm not talking about, and it's the Panthers. I don't have faith in this Panthers team to make it in the playoffs. I don't, and maybe that makes me a hater. I also hope that I'm dead wrong because I really like Bryce Young. I do. So I hope that I'm completely wrong in that. However, let's start at number 5. Top 5 fringe teams, and the 5th one on the list is the Minnesota Vikings. Here's the deal. I honestly, if I'm a Vikings fan, I am sitting back sick. Not even Pepto-Bismol will fix this stomach ache that I feel if I'm a Vikings fan. Watching Sam Darnold do what he does in Seattle, knowing that we had that man, and that man was playing at an MVP level to start the season, and we said, bye-bye. We have no room for you here. We're going to take a chance on a rookie who we've actually never seen start in the NFL. I'm not dogging on JJ now. Hear me loud and clear. I'm not dogging on JJ. But you had what you needed, honest to goodness, in a quarterback. That's how I feel. I mean, I'm watching Sam Darnold now going, what were they thinking? So the Minnesota Vikings are 5 on this list of my 5, fringe teams because I'm just not there with the Vikings. I'm just not. I think there's a lot of injuries. I don't think they've had like a proper opportunity to find that dynamic and that chemistry between quarterback and offense and what have you. There's just been a lot of changes and a lot of different things and different people in and out over the last few seasons that I think they need some stability. And I just don't think this is the year that they're going to find it mid-season and make things happen. So the Minnesota Vikings, I'm not being a hater. Justin Jefferson to me is goated. He is one of the greatest, and I would love nothing more than to see that man win a Super Bowl. I just don't know if it's this year. Actually, I know it's not. So moving on, at number 4, give me, because I am not off the train yet, at number 4, give me Jacksonville, guys. We saw at the beginning of the season, they had a very, very stellar run game, okay? Trevor Lawrence, whether you want to believe it or not, knows how to win football games. He does. He does, and he's got weapons all around him. And I just think that they need a second, okay? I think it's going to start clicking. So if I'm going to, if there's a fringe team I'm looking at where I'm like, they could do it, it's Jacksonville. I believe they can. Now, is it going to be tough? Of course. Of course. The Colts are still colting, I'm afraid. So it's going to be tough. But I still believe that they can do it. I still do. I really, really do. Okay, at 3, you've got the Houston Texans. Now, hear me out. Defense wins championships. We know that. And that's kind of all I need to say. But also, Davis Mills potentially saving the season? What? Say what? That was a beautiful comeback. That was a beautiful comeback game. And defense does, in fact, win championships. It does indeed. Yes. So because of that fact right there, the defense this team has, and you've got a backup who's playing that's actually keeping you afloat. You've got playmakers on this offense, and you've got a really elite defense. Don't count out the Texans, I'm just saying. Don't count out the Texans, I'm just saying. Because they certainly didn't count themselves out of that football game, did they? No, they didn't. They were in it until the game was done. And what a game it was. So, Texans, I like them. Defense wins championships, and they've got one that I would probably put my money on. It's true. At 2, this shouldn't shock you. Get a grip. AFC, be warned. Lamar Jackson is back, baby. It's true. And you know what? I say defense wins championships, and the Ravens don't have a great one. That is true. Yes, a little bit of contradiction happening here with Liv Moods. What's new? Get over it. Lamar Jackson is him, though. If I had to kind of rank on a team things that I care a lot about, I think defense is probably 1. So that's why this Baltimore Ravens team is not number 1 in terms of my fringe teams that are on the cusp, that are fighting for a spot in the playoffs. I'd put defense at 1, which the Ravens really struggle with. But at 2, I'd put a quarterback. And there are very few quarterbacks in the league that I like more than Lamar Jackson. I just like the way he plays. I don't think there's anybody that plays like him. He has got something that is called an it factor. And I will back him 150%. Now, is there also a world where potentially, hypothetically speaking, I think I'm speaking for a friend, that there's a futures ticket for the Ravens to win it all? Maybe I know someone with that. Maybe that someone is me. Who's to say? I believe in Lamar Jackson, and that's about all I need to believe in. He does it all. Oh, Lamar Jackson can't throw a football. Shut up. Yes, he can. Shut up. And he can run it too if he needs to, which we know bodes very well in this league as this game has evolved. The more mobile your quarterback is, the harder they are to sack, and the more of a playmaker they become. And that's Lamar Jackson. So let's stop pretending like he's not him, because he is. So I've got the Ravens at 2, solely because Lamar Jackson exists and he's back. And the moment he came back, guess what? They started winning football games again. Imagine that. Because he's a winner. Chicken dinner. And the AFC North, might I add, is kind of like, Steelers just got a whooping. You already know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. I'm over that old man. I really am. Retire, Grandpa. You are so frustrating to me. I can't believe. Honestly, guys, I watch him overthrow to DK Metcalf in that game. And the first thing out of my mouth was, whose fault was that? And then they cut to a camera clip of Aaron Rodgers, and he's like, rah, 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 rah. I'm like, hold on, Aaron. I'm pretty sure that was your fault, actually. If I'm not mistaken, you overthrew that ball. So I'm not sure who you're yelling at, because you don't have a mirror in front of your face. I'm over him. You guys already know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. He drives me absolutely bonkers. That being said, I also really like Mike Tomlin, so kind of caught in a crossfire here. But my point is, the AFC North really doesn't belong to the Steelers now that Lamar Jackson is back. I have a feeling he's going to start raising a little hell around here, and I love that for him. And for my futures ticket that I may or may not have. Thank you. Let's go to number 1. This makes me sick. Get some Pepto-Bismol on site now. My stomach hurts. It's the truth, though. The Kansas City Chiefs. If you're looking at the teams that are on the cusp, which one do you trust more? Probably the one with Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. I hate it too, Broncos country, but it's the truth. He's still Patrick Mahomes. And I hope and pray that this Broncos team is realizing that in these 10 days they have off before they see this team. He is still him. Despite how they started their season, they had an injured group of receivers. Those receivers started coming back and stretching the field, and guess what? We saw Patrick being Patrick. My only critique on this Kansas City Chiefs team is, Travis Kelce, I think it's time. I think it's time, Travis. Pack it up. Pack it up. Call the wedding planner and just focus on that for now. Honestly, I'm serious. Travis Kelce to me just kind of looks a little checked out. He's a little bit slow, actually. And I just don't know if he is really him. I actually have a hot take about that. People call him the best tight end we've ever seen, and I very strongly disagree with that. I really do. Yes, Andy, you heard me right. It's the truth. I don't think he's the best. Is he good? Oh, sure. Yes, of course he is. Great. But I also love seeing these young tight ends coming up and kind of just making us forget about Grandpa Travis. Honestly, I'm cool with it. I like it. I like fresh new faces that are bringing new energy. And maybe it's time for Patrick Mahomes to find his new Clyde. He's Bonnie, if you didn't get the reference. He needs to find his new Clyde because he's Bonnie. Where's his Clyde? I don't think it's Travis anymore. That being said, Patrick is still Patrick. Andy Reid is still Andy Reid. And gosh dang it, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. That's true. So if you're looking at teams that are on the fringe here that are they going to make the playoffs? Yes, the Chiefs likely will, of course. Unless they absolutely just start checking out, which there have been a couple of games where they've looked a little checked out, I'm afraid. Unless they truly just put their hands up and say, we are done, we don't care, they're making the playoffs. So, do I trust them? Yes, because they have Patrick Mahomes. And as much as I want to hate this man so badly, whenever he is playing football, I'm like, I just want to not be able to stand him. But gosh, he is so good. There is no denying that. It just isn't. I'm sorry. My fandom for the Broncos has to take a back seat to recognize what Patrick Mahomes is. Real recognize real. He is good AF. He is. And he's not done. He's not slowing down anytime soon. So if you're looking at this Chiefs team trying to figure out what the end of their season looks like, I can bet your bottom dollar they're going to be playing in the playoffs. Now, will they have the 1 seed? I sure hope not, because my Denver Broncos are sitting at the top right now looking real nice and real cute and also ugly on a Thursday night. Everyone has an ugly day. Okay, guys? Everyone has an ugly day. So I like the Chiefs. Yeah, unfortunately, I do. I don't want to, but I do. Okay, last thing. Final thing. This came to my attention. Actually, first, let's talk about a car. Should we talk about a car? Just recently, I had the honor and the privilege of filming a little commercial with my family and friends over at Landmark Lincoln. So I'm going to let you guys see that commercial because 1, it was fun to shoot and I really enjoy it. But 2, Landmark Lincoln is doing something really, really awesome for the next couple of months and I don't want you to miss out on it. So here it is.
At Landmark Lincoln, we've been serving Colorado families for generations. But what matters most is giving back.
This November and December, $250 from every car sold will go towards St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Together, we can find cures for childhood cancer.
1 car, 1 family, 1 cure at a time.
Let's drive hope forward, Colorado.
Every mile matters.
$250 for every car sold goes to cancer research for children. Why would you not do it? I'm telling you, you guys, 2025 Lincoln Nautilus is my new whip, and I love her. I love her. She is a phenomenal car. And honestly, at Landmark Lincoln, they make sure you're taken care of from start to finish. These are some of the best people I've ever met. And I love that they do this, especially around the holidays. So just think about it. If you're in the need for a new car, you know somebody that is, send them over off of Bellevue and Broadway to Landmark Lincoln and contribute to a great cause. $250. Every mile matters, guys. You heard me say it, and I'm going to say it again. Okay, last things last. Okay, whatever. Last things last. Here's the deal. I walked into the studio. I sat at the desk. I'm like finishing up, tidying up some things in the rundown, figuring out what else we're going to discuss today. And this video came upon my timeline and the woman was too stunned to speak. And I don't think I have the proper words to explain what happened in this clip and how dumbfounded she was. So I'm just going to play it for you and you better get in that comment section in that little chat and you let me know how you feel because the woman, like I said, was too stunned to speak. Let's check it out.
Say JD at the first time chat, 2 versus 2, y'all versus Joker's brothers. That shit a landslide.
Yeah, come on, man.
See, I forget, like, motherfuckers, like, no disrespect to them, like, y'all, motherfuckers see them and be like, God damn, them motherfuckers big as shit, right? But if y'all see us, bro, I'm 6'10", 280. Like,
What y'all think that is?
an athletic version to these big chested motherfuckers that can't move. What? Man, punch both of them niggas in their chest. Not they goddamn like niggas. Like,
They do like what they say they do. I don't know. What kind of
wrestle or
shit,
some
yeah.
shit like that. Like,
So they
I don't
say.
know, bro. Like,
I don't even
boxing,
entertain
bro.
that shit.
We talking boxing. I'm putting hands on them niggas easy. Like, it ain't even a question. Like, not even like it's a landslide. Like, it would be crazy. Like, you would see some shit. Y'all see that shit. Like, yo, they told us they was gonna do that.
In real time, though.
But we don't never entertain that shit. When motherfuckers be talking about they do this and do that, man, that shit bad.
Did we just watch the same video? Did we watch the same video? Let me remind you, while they were flexing that they're 280 and 6'10", Nikola Jokic is 6'11", I believe, 285, and his brother makes him look small. Small. One of the things they also forgot to mention is that they don't act the same or move the same or frankly have the same like patience, I would imagine, in Serbia that they do. Like we're talking about a completely different beast of human being. And mind you, the Jokic brothers have already proven they don't care. They will fight you, they will cuss you out, they will talk to you, they don't care. And if it means they've got to eat a fine, they're eating the fine. They don't care. Here's where I'm a little worried, actually. Those were fighting words. That in its own way was a threat. Like, oh yeah, if I see it's on site, I'm punching them in their chest. Like, you're doing what now? I'm not sure that's a very smart decision. And I actually love, maybe this was the best way to do it because you did it after you were done playing in the NBA when you could hide away in your house and not be touched. I mean, this is the same guy that got checked from behind by Nikola Jokic, which I'm not defending that because it was kind of a blindsiding, check. But you stood up and you were boo-hooing like a baby when you got knocked to the floor by Jokic. And keep in mind, Jokic, 6'11", 285, looks small compared to his Serbian monsters of brothers. These are fighting words, fellas. I strongly suggest you just stay in that little game room of yours and film this little podcast and don't leave your home. Because I'm not sure what kind of a can you've opened up, but you were talking awfully loud and with your chest about how you called it a landslide? This is crazy. This might be the craziest thing I've seen in a minute. Landslide. I don't think there's one person I would put in the landslide category versus the Jokic brothers. That's the other thing. The Jokic brothers just have this ability to just not care. They don't care. And I think they are built very different, not just culturally because they're from Serbia, but they just don't care. I'm pretty sure these are the two brothers that made a Twitter account. Two brothers that aren't on social media at all made a Twitter account just to trash talk the two of you. You don't think they're going to watch this little clip and go, okay, tell us when and where? Now, your follow through is going to be what really matters. You can talk all you want to talk about how it's going to be a landslide versus the Jokic brothers, but it's the follow through that we really care about. And make sure you've got that podcast equipment set up with a ring light when you do meet these men so that we can also get a taste of that. Because we've now heard you do your little pre-fight trash talking here, but you better stand 10 toes down on business because these were fighting words, I'm afraid. Yeah, it's true. These men, I don't think you guys understand. Unless you've seen these men in person, you don't get it. They are huge. I don't even know if a punch from the Morris brothers would even make them move. I think they would stand 10 toes down just because they're that big. They wouldn't even budge. So I don't know what on earth inclined them to do this, to grab a microphone and to speak on this. Like, I don't get it. That's one of those comments, for future reference, Morris Brothers, that's one of those comments you just scroll past. You don't bring more attention to it. If someone says, hey, let me resurface beef that you had from a couple of years ago with the Serbian monsters of the NBA and rage bait you 10 out of 10 and get you fired up, and now it's clipped and posted all over the web, and these are fighting words, I'm afraid. Next time, scroll past the comment. I urge you to scroll past the comment next time, because I don't know why you would think speaking on this is a good idea. Like, I think we finally resolved the Morris brothers versus Jokic brothers, like, heat and beef that was going on there. It's resolved because nobody's talking about the Morris brothers anymore, but it's also resolved because the Jokic brothers are just living their life. They don't care. But this now, those are fighting words. And you better stand 10 toes down when it's time to fight them, because you sounded awfully confident. If I remember correctly, you called it a landslide, which is the most out. I mean, I'm also now starting to wonder, are you okay? Why would you think this was a good idea? Like, the last group of individuals that I plan on ever having beef with is the Jokic brothers. I could tell you that right now. I'm good. I am totally good. Yeah, I don't need it. So, not sure what's up with the Morris brothers, but they've got maybe a little too much free time on their hands, because what on earth was that? I had to bring that up. I had to show you guys that clip, because you wouldn't have believed me if I said, oh yeah, on a random Monday, the Morris brothers just reignited beef with the Jokic brothers. Yeah, well, they did that. They did that. So anyway, not sure that was smart, but who am I? Who's to say? We'll see. Maybe we get a little free entertainment, which is, Serbia versus the US, and it's just the Jokic brothers in a ring with the Morris brothers. I would love to see it. I would absolutely love to see it. And I can tell you right now, I know where my money's going, and it's not going on the guys with a mic in front of their mouth. That's the truth. Nope. It's not. I've seen one of the Jokic brothers at Lifetime. That's all I needed to see. And that was the smaller of the brothers, by the way. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Keep me out the way. So anyway, that's it for the show though, guys. And by the way, will I be nervous about the Broncos all week long? I'm sure I will. It's the Chiefs. I'm sure I will. The Denver Nuggets also play tomorrow night. They've got a lot of road games this week. If you're in Denver, the Nuggets game tomorrow night does not start until 9 p.m. They're in Sacramento. The Sacramento game starts at 8 for them, but 9 for us. Super late. I can't quite remember who they play Wednesday, but then they've got the Timberwolves on Saturday. So I plan to do a post-game live show following the Timberwolves game, because as you guys know, the Timberwolves are just that team, man. They're just that team that we can't seem to get past. We did earlier this season, so I want to see that happen again. But plan on having that as a post-game live show this week. And then, of course, we'll have another episode of Mood Swings later in the week, Friday, 4 p.m. Mountain Time. But until then, guys, I'm going to keep on rooting for the Denver Nuggets, rooting for the Avs. Did you guys know Denver teams 6-0 for the Broncos? No, that can't be right. 4-0 maybe? I don't know what their home record is. Undefeated at home in regulation. We're going to add that in for the Avs' sake. In regulation, the Denver teams are undefeated at home. Really cool thing. It's nice to be a Denver fan right now. We're having a lot of fun. So I'm going to get out of here now. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Mood Swings with Liv Moods. I'm Liv Moods, and as always, this has been presented by Landmark Lincoln. Shout out to our friends over at Landmark Lincoln and their drive for cause right now. $250 donated towards children's cancer research over with St. Jude for every car that is sold over the next couple of months. So make sure you guys go over there, check out our friends at Landmark Lincoln. I'm signing off for now. We'll see you Friday, 4 p.m. Mountain Time. And until then, go Broncos. See ya.